Hi everyone, I just wanted to come on here and thank every single one of you for your support, taking the time.
I got it off the court, so I've actually got the line I need.
Shockwave. Alex Eala lands on Netflix. Asia's pride turns into a global movement. The lights of Melbourne Park may have dimmed, but the story is far from over. In fact, for millions of fans across Asia and the world, the real drama is just beginning. When Alex Eala exploded onto the scene at the 2026 Australian Open, we thought we were watching a tennis match. We thought we were witnessing just another talented rookie trying to make her mark on the Grand Slam stage. We were wrong, spectacularly, magnificently, gloriously wrong. We were watching the first chapter of a cultural phenomenon. Fans felt it in their bones. The fearless baseline rallies that defied physics, the deafening roar of the crowd that sounded more like a rock concert than a tennis match, and the Philippine flag rising higher with every single point. But now, that very journey has taken a twist that absolutely nobody saw coming. The court was just the stage. The world is now the audience. Alex Eala has officially landed on Netflix, and the tennis world is absolutely losing its mind. Welcome back to Champions Tennisitics, your number one source for the stories that matter. Today, we are not just talking about forehands and backhands. We are talking about a revolution. We are talking about the exact moment a tennis player became a global icon. From the heartbreak in Melbourne to the red carpet of streaming giants, and finally, to a shocking resurrection in the deserts of Dubai that has left experts absolutely speechless. This is the definitive story of Alex Eala's 2026 season. Buckle up, because we are diving deep. This is the news you will not hear on the traditional broadcasts. This is the raw, unfiltered, and electrifying truth about Asia's pride. The girl who dared, the player who suffered, and the champion who rose. The Netflix effect, ball kids, and the new global stage. Let's start with the headline that is breaking the internet. Netflix, the streaming giant that turns local stories into global obsessions, has turned its lens on the Australian Open, and right in the center of the frame is the spirit of Alex Eala. Yes, you heard that correctly. The same platform that brought you Drive to Survive, Breakpoint, and Cheer has now aimed its storytelling machinery at the Melbourne Grand Slam, and one name keeps rising to the surface. The new documentary series is titled Ball Kids. On the surface, it is a show about the unsung heroes of the tournament, the kids who sprint, dive, and freeze in the scorching Australian heat to keep the game moving. Narrated by the brilliant Australian comedian and actor Celia Pacquola, the series pulls back the curtain on Grand Slam chaos in a way we have never seen before. It exposes the nerves, the sweat, the rigorous Top Gun selection process, and the backstage silence before the storm of each match. But here is where the story gets absolutely electric. Insiders and early viewers are buzzing about a specific narrative thread that gives the film its emotional heartbeat. While the camera follows the ball kids, the context of their pressure often revolves around the players they serve. And in the 2026 edition, few players brought the kind of electric, heavy atmosphere that Alex Eala did. The Filipino sensation gave the documentary its most compelling scenes, its most tear-inducing moments, and its most powerful representation of what sport truly means beyond the scoreboard. Reports coming out of the premiere suggest that Eala's segments are a revelation. We are not just seeing a player asking for a towel. We are seeing a young woman carrying the weight of an entire nation on her shoulders, yet treating everyone around her, including the ball kids, with a grace and warmth that belies the impossible pressure she is under. One particular scene is already being cited by fans as a genuine tearjerker. It captures the raw, unpolished reality of the locker room moments before her main draw debut. You see the focus in her eyes, the silent prayer, and the sheer magnitude of the moment pressing down on her young shoulders. For a ball kid standing nearby, she is not just a competitor, she is a titan made of flesh and fire. And for millions watching on their screens across Southeast Asia, she is the answer to a question they have been asking for decades. When will one of ours stand among the giants? Social media across Asia erupted the moment the rumors surfaced. The hashtag Eala on Netflix began trending within hours. One fan posted on X, formerly Twitter, simply writing, "She carried more than a racket. She carried a nation, And now the whole world gets to see how heavy that load really was. That single post collected hundreds of thousands of likes in under 24 hours. It tells you everything you need to know about what this moment means. This is not just a cameo. This is a soft power victory for Philippine sports on a scale we have not seen before. For decades, tennis documentaries have focused on the Federers, the Serenas, the Nadals, the royal families of the sport. To have an Asian rising star woven into the narrative architecture of a major Netflix sports documentary is a defining moment for representation in this game. It signals that the producers know where the energy is. They understand that the future of tennis is not solely in Europe or North America. It is in the passionate, digitally connected, roaringly loud fan base of Southeast Asia. Critics are calling Ball Kids a masterpiece of sports storytelling because it humanizes the machine of the Grand Slam. It reminds us that a tournament is not just scores and statistics. It is a living, breathing, emotional organism. But for us here at Champions Tennisitics, it is the Eala factor that makes it utterly unmissable. It immortalizes her 2026 Australian Open run not as a statistic in a database, but as a cinematic event burned into the memory of sports history. Flashback, the Melbourne heartbreak, and the triple break. To truly understand why this Netflix moment matters so profoundly, we have to rewind the clock to January 2026. The setting, Melbourne Park. The atmosphere, volcanic. Alex Eala entered the Australian Open with momentum that was palpable and unmistakable. She was not limping into the tournament with nerves and hesitation. She was charging in with the swagger of someone who had already proven she belonged. Fresh off a stunning title at the prestigious Kooyong Classic and a gritty, gutsy run at the ASB Classic in Auckland, her ranking had surged all the way to world number 49, a number that no longer whispers prospect. It screams legitimate threat. Her first-round opponent was the American powerhouse Alicia Parks, a player known for her thunderous serve and aggressive net game. On paper, it was a clash of contrasting styles. Parks with her raw power and baseline thunder, against Eala's lefty spin, tactical chess moves, and her newfound court coverage that had pundits raising their eyebrows all preseason. The match started like a house on fire that nobody was ready to put out. Do you remember that first set? If you blinked, you might have missed the genius. Eala came out swinging, not with anxiety, but with a predatory instinct that shocked everyone watching. She earned a triple break in the opening set, a feat that is incredibly rare in women's tennis against a server with the caliber of Parks. Eala was painting the lines, moving Parks side to side like a puppet, and relentlessly exploiting the Americans' movement. The Filipino crowd, the loudest and most passionate tennis supporters you will ever encounter anywhere on this planet, turned Court 3 into something resembling a home stadium in Manila. Every winner was met with screams that carried across the Melbourne skyline. But tennis, as we all know, is a cruel game of inches, momentum, and mental fortitude. The tide turned with the swiftness of a desert storm. Parks found her rhythm, and the unforced errors began to creep into Eala's game like shadows at dusk. The pressure of the main draw debut, the history she was trying to write, the weight of a nation watching, it all began to settle on those 20-year-old shoulders. Despite the heroic start, despite the bravery, despite the brilliance, Eala eventually exited in the first round. The scoreboard showed a loss. The narrative showed something entirely different. It showed a champion in the making. In the post-match press conference, Eala was visibly emotional but composed with a dignity that drew admiration from journalists who cover this sport year-round. She spoke about the learning curve, the particular intensity of Grand Slam level competition, and the hunger, the burning, relentless hunger, to return. And now, with the Netflix cameras having captured that very moment of pain and resolution, the world gets to understand why what happened next was so extraordinary. Because she did regroup. Spectacularly. Unforgettably. In a way that has the tennis world scrambling to rethink everything it thought it knew about this young woman from the Philippines. The plot twist, redemption in the desert. If this were a Hollywood movie, the Australian Open would be the dark night of the soul. The moment the hero falls from the mountain, leaving the audience leaning forward in their seats, holding their breath, wondering if she has what it truly takes to climb back up. Every great story needs that moment of doubt. Every champion needs the cave. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the sequel just dropped. and it is nothing short of an action blockbuster. While the world was busy adding ball kids to their Netflix watch lists and debating the finest moments of Eala's cameo, Alex Eala herself was busy boarding a plane to the Middle East. She landed in Dubai for the prestigious Dubai Tennis Championships, a WTA 1000 event. For those newer to the world of tennis, a WTA 1000 sits just one tier below a Grand Slam in terms of prestige, prize money, and the caliber of players in the draw. The Shark Tank does not begin to describe it. Eala arrived in Dubai with a point to prove that could be measured in fire. The whispers of the doubters were growing louder. Was the Kuyong title a fluke against lesser opposition? Can she genuinely handle the sheer power of the world's top 10 on the biggest stages? Is she merely a marketing phenomenon, a hype train with great optics and limited results? These questions were being asked openly in forums, in broadcasts, and in the corridors of tennis clubs across the world. Alex Eala answered every single one of those questions with a racket, not a microphone. And the answer was thunderous. In February 2026, Alex Eala walked onto the hard courts of Dubai to face Jasmine Paolini. Let us put some serious respect on that name right now. Jasmine Paolini is not just any player occupying space in a draw. She is the world number 8. She is a former champion of the Dubai Tennis Championships. She is a Grand Slam finalist with the battle scars to prove it. She is, by every measurable metric available to those who study this sport, a genuine titan of the modern women's game. Most pundits predicted a routine straight sets win for the Italian and were already moving on to previewing the quarterfinals. They did not account for the Eala evolution. Nobody did. From the very first ball, Eala looked like an entirely different player than the one who exited Melbourne in the first round. The hesitation was gone. The wide eyes of the Grand Slam debutante had been replaced by the cold, calculating gaze of a predator. She was not waiting for Paolini to make mistakes. She was manufacturing them with surgical precision. Eala took the first set 6-1. Let that sink in for a moment. 6-1 against the world number 8. It was a masterclass in controlled violence. She hit winners from defensive positions that had the Dubai crowd gasping and murmuring to one another. She utilized her southpaw forehand to open up angles that left Paolini frozen, stranded, and visibly frustrated. If you had told anyone in tennis circles this score before the match began, they would have smiled politely and told you to be realistic. But champions do not go down easy. Paolini dug deep into her vast reservoir of experience and stormed back in the second set, utilizing every tactical weapon she possesses to drag the match into a dogfight that had everyone watching on the edges of their seats. The score reached 6-5 in favor of Paolini. Eala was serving to stay in the match, standing at the precipice with the tiebreak looming and the ghost of Melbourne whispering in her ear. One slip-up, one moment of doubt, and the match was going to a deciding set where the veteran's experience almost always prevails. Eala held. Tiebreak. The crowd held its collective breath. The Filipino expatriate community in Dubai, who had gathered in extraordinary numbers to support their champion, began to shake the stadium walls with their chanting. It felt like Manila in the middle of the Dubai desert, Eala would later recall. Chants of "Let's Go Alex" echoed and swelled, drowning out everything else. The tiebreak became a microcosm of Eala's entire career story. It was gritty. It was tense. It was loud. And it was glorious. At 6-5 in the tiebreak, match point to Eala, she did not play it safe. She did not push the ball back and hope Paolini missed. She went for her shots. She trusted her hands, her preparation, and her heart. And when Paolini's final ball sailed fractionally beyond the baseline, Eala dropped her racket, buried her face in both hands, and the stadium around her absolutely detonated. She had done it. She had stunned the world number 8 on one of the biggest stages in the sport. In her on-court interview immediately after, fighting back tears that she almost certainly had been holding since Melbourne, Eala told the crowd and everyone watching around the world, "I am really happy to have gotten through. She is a great opponent, obviously being top 10, so to be able to compete with her at this level, it is a great achievement for me." The humility in those words made the achievement even more extraordinary. This was not just a win. This was a statement carved in stone on the WTA timeline. It marked her third career victory over a top 10 player, joining her previous conquests of Madison Keys and the great Iga Swiatek. But more than the statistics, more than the ranking points, it was living proof that the Australian Open loss did not break her. It did exactly what great defeats are supposed to do to great athletes. It forged her stronger. The technical evolution, what changed? We need to take a moment to step back from the drama and analyze the tennis itself, because that is where the real story of growth is hiding. What changed between the humid courts of Melbourne and the dry, desert heat of Dubai? Experts who have been watching the tapes closely are identifying 3 distinct improvements in Eala's game that are making her genuinely dangerous at this level of competition. There is another dimension to what comes next that deserves equal attention: the commercial and cultural momentum building around her. Brands have begun circling. International sponsorship conversations are reportedly intensifying. The visibility that the Netflix documentary provides is the kind of global exposure that management teams spend years trying to manufacture organically. For Eala, it has arrived naturally, as a byproduct of simply being extraordinary at what she does and extraordinary in who she is as a human being. The Philippine Olympic Committee and Philippine Sports Commission are watching with barely concealed excitement as the possibility of Eala representing her country at the highest levels of the Olympic tennis competition becomes increasingly realistic. The 2028 Los Angeles Olympics loom on the horizon, and the thought of Alex Eala walking into Dodger Stadium with the Philippine flag on her back, ranked in the top 20 of the world, is the kind of national sports fantasy that sustained generations of Filipino sports fans through decades of near misses and almost moments. This time, the almost moment may have finally arrived. The trajectory does not just suggest a good career. It suggests something historically significant. A top 10 ranking within 2 years. Grand Slam quarterfinals that rewrite record books. An entire generation of Southeast Asian tennis players who grow up pointing to Eala the way European players once pointed to Steffi Graf or Monica Seles and saying, "That is what I want to be." The responsibility of being a pioneer is enormous. Alex Eala seems to carry it with a calmness that is, in itself, remarkable. The movement is real, and it is just beginning. Alex Eala is not just landing on Netflix. She has landed in the consciousness of the sporting world with a force that will leave a permanent mark on this sport and on the culture that surrounds it. The girl who was once a promising junior collecting junior Grand Slam titles while the professional world barely noticed is now, undeniably and irreversibly, a giant killer. The documentary Ball Kids might be about the unsung heroes of the court, the invisible workers who make the spectacle possible, but it has inadvertently and beautifully highlighted the biggest hero of them all for the Filipino community and for Asian tennis as a whole. From the tears in Melbourne to the triumph in Dubai, from the quiet prayer in the locker room to the roar of a desert stadium turned Manila away fixture. This is a story of resilience that a Hollywood screenwriter would be afraid to submit for fear it seemed too dramatic, too unlikely, too perfectly constructed. But the best part, the single greatest, most goosebump-inducing aspect of this entire story, is that it is completely, 100% real. And it is happening right now. On the courts, on the screens, in the hearts of millions. We are witnessing the transformation of potential into power. We are watching the conversion of hype into substance. We are present for the emergence of a genuinely transformative sporting figure who will reshape not just the WTA rankings, but the cultural conversation around women's tennis for the next decade and beyond. The world is watching Alex Eala. Every streaming platform, every sports desk, every casual fan who stumbled into an Eala highlight clip at 2 in the morning and found themselves unable to stop watching. They are all watching. And Alex Eala? She is absolutely, unquestionably, brilliantly ready for her close-up. She was born for this. She trained for this. She suffered and grew and evolved for this exact moment. The only question that remains, the one that will keep us all watching every match, every press conference, every Netflix season, is not whether she will reach the summit. It is how magnificent, how dramatic, how deeply Filipino the journey to that summit is going to be. Asia's pride is no longer coming. She is already here. The shockwave has already hit. And the tremors are only going to keep growing. Now it's your turn. Champions Tennisitics needs to hear from you. What a story, right? I mean, are you breathing? Because I barely am after putting all of that together. The 2026 season is turning into an absolute masterpiece thriller, and we are only 2 months in. There are still 5 Grand Slams worth of drama ahead of us. 5 more chances for Eala to write another chapter that we will be talking about for years. I want to hear from every single one of you in the comments section below. Did you catch the buzz around Alex Eala's appearance in the Ball Kids documentary? What did you think of that insider look at the human side of the Australian Open? Did it change the way you see the players competing behind those baseline lines? And the big question, the one I am absolutely desperate to see your answers to, after that seismic, earth-shaking win over world number 8 Jasmine Paolini, how far do you think Eala can go in the Dubai Championships? Round of 8? Semifinals? Could she actually win her first WTA 1000 title here in the desert? Can she crack the top 30 before Roland Garros even begins? Sound off in the comments section. Debate it. Argue it. Share your predictions, your passion, and your Filipino pride, because this channel was built for exactly this kind of conversation. I read every single comment personally, and your engagement genuinely shapes the stories we chase and the content we create for you. If you enjoyed this deep dive, and I genuinely hope you did, please do me one enormous favor that costs you literally nothing but means everything to the growth of this channel. Smash that like button right now. It is the single most powerful signal you can send to let YouTube know that stories like this deserve to be seen by more people. Every like is a vote for more Alex Eala coverage, more breaking tennis news, and more of the stories the mainstream broadcast will not tell you. Subscribe to Champions Tennisitics if you have not already joined our family. And make sure you tap that notification bell and select all notifications so that when the next Eala update breaks, and it will break soon, you are the very first to know. We are building something special here, and you are a critical part of it. This is Champions Tennisitics, signing off. Keep your eye on the ball, and never, ever stop believing in your champions.